Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into a gripping story set in the heart of Baton Rouge, a place known for its rich culture, but also home to some haunting realities. We're exploring crime, prison life, and the intricate web of father son relationships affected by the criminal justice system. Meet Carter Davis, a dedicated correctional officer who thought he was living without regrets. Little did he know, a brief encounter 2 decades ago would ignite a generational cycle of violence that would engulf not just him, but also his son, Marcus Thompson. As we unravel their story, we'll confront the unresolved emotions and hidden stories that often go untold. What happens when the choices of one generation weigh heavy on the next? Can these cycles of violence be broken, or are we forever trapped in the past? Join us as we navigate through betrayal, redemption, and the shocking question, can blood bonds be trusted? What if the truth hidden in silence could change everything? Let's dive into this tale of crime, consequence, and the undeniable power of shared blood. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave your thoughts in the comments because trust me, you won't want to miss this emotional roller coaster. In the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the echoes of jazz blend with the somber stories of the prison system, unfolds a tale of fate intertwining in the most chilling way. Meet Carter Davis, a dedicated correctional officer who believed he was living a life without regrets. Little did he know, 20 years earlier, a brief encounter in a dimly lit bar would change his life forever. It was a night like any other in Baton Rouge, hot, humid, and alive with the sounds of laughter and music. Carter, a young and ambitious officer, had just started his career in law enforcement. He met Linda Thompson at the Bay Bar, a local hotspot where dreams collided with reality. Their connection was electric, but after that fateful night, their lives would take drastically different paths. Linda soon discovered she was pregnant, a shocking revelation that would shape the course of her life and that of her unborn child. Alone and afraid, she made the tough decision to raise her child alone, never revealing the father's identity. Carter remained blissfully unaware of his life-changing role as a father, focused solely on his career in the prison system. Fast forward to the present day, and we meet Marcus Thompson, a young man struggling under the weight of his father's absence. Born from that fleeting encounter, Marcus grew up with an empty space where a paternal figure should have been. Linda did her best to provide for him in a rough neighborhood, but without a father figure, Marcus faced challenges that no boy should endure. Friends, anger, and rebellion pulled him into a world where crime felt like the only path available. Imagine a young Marcus skating down the streets of Baton Rouge, surrounded by friends, but always feeling a gnawing emptiness inside. The absence of a father haunted him. No baseball games, no late night chats about life, and most importantly, no guidance. Instead of support, the streets became his mentor, leading him toward crime as a means of assertion in a world where he felt powerless. As the years rolled by, his life spiraled further out of control. Fights in school led to suspensions, and petty crimes morphed into more serious actions. Each wrong turn felt more justified than the last, fueled by anger and resentment toward a father who never acknowledged him. It was almost poetic, the situation where a son's journey through crime led him to the very institution where his father worked. One fateful night, desperate for respect and cash, Marcus committed a crime that would change everything: a carjacking. He had hoped for a smooth getaway, however. Things took a sinister turn when he ended up taking a life, a move that sealed his fate. As sirens wailed in the distance, Marcus felt the weight of the world crash on him, yet all he could think about was the urge to prove himself. Convicted and sentenced to years at Bio Correctional Institution, the very prison where Carter Davis maintained order, Marcus entered that facility with a cocktail of emotions: fear, anger, and maybe a sprinkle of hope for understanding. He was about to face the consequences of a fractured childhood, entering a world where control was lost. As the prison gates clanged shut behind him, Marcus felt the cold steel of reality. The smell of despair mingled with the faint scent of cleaning supplies being used by inmates. In the mindset of survival, he quickly put the past behind him, standing tall amongst hardened criminals, ready to make a name for himself no matter what it took. But fate had other plans. During orientation day, an officer approached the new inmates and suddenly time froze. Standing before Marcus was Officer Carter Davis, a seasoned veteran of the prison system. The resemblance was uncanny, almost like looking into a mirror magnified by years. Marcus's heart raced, but so did his mind. What were the odds? The questions churned in his mind like a storm. What was this feeling? Could this man be the father he never knew? As fate would have it, his instinct screamed that he had to know more. After all, who wouldn't want to confront the ghosts of their past? Marcus's thoughts spiraled out of control, replaying his mother's words about the father he had never met. Fueled by a mixture of fear and exhilaration, he felt compelled to make a call. In a small, dimly lit phone booth, he dialed Linda's number, searching for clarity. Upon hearing his mother's voice, he asked the question that had been haunting him. Mom, who is Officer Davis? Linda's response struck like a lightning bolt. Marcus, Carter Davis is your father. I never told you because I thought protecting you from him was best. The weight of those words suffocated Marcus. His father, a man who had abandoned him, rage coursed through his veins. How could the man who looked like him have chosen a life as a prison officer while he suffered the consequences of abandonment? Staring at the gray walls of his cell, Marcus mulled over this shocking information. Fueled by a longing for acknowledgement and a demand for closure, he plotted his next move. He knew he had to confront Carter to demand recognition for the years of pain that came from his absence. The next day, filled with anxiety and anger, Marcus approached Officer Davis, heart pounding in his chest. The moment had come. As he walked up, he tried to control his breathing. He was confronted with the reality of facing the man who was not just an officer, but the very essence of what he had missed in life. Did you know my mother? He forced out, trying to keep his voice steady. Carter met his gaze, his eyes momentarily reflecting a flicker of recognition before responding, yes, I knew her. We had a brief encounter, but that's all it was. There's no way I'm your father. The words felt like daggers. Anger ignited inside Marcus. How could Carter dismiss him so easily? In that moment, rage replaced the desire for understanding. The very man who had the power to change his life dismissed him like a ghost. Turning away, Marcus returned to his cell, each step thunderous in the depths of his mind. His thoughts spiraled into a tornado of unresolved emotions, years of neglect and a yearning for a father now twisting into a desire for revenge. He had one thought on his mind. This man would pay for the life he never had. Gripping the makeshift shank he had fashioned from bits of metal and sheer will, he felt a sense of purpose. He thought of all the birthday parties he had missed, all the advice he never received, the belief that he was unwanted, each memory condensing into that single moment. With newfound resolve, Marcus plotted his course. The inevitable clash occurred again, with Carter making his rounds. Seizing the moment, Marcus lunged towards him, fueled by rage and a lifetime of resentment. The weight of betrayal lay heavy in the air as the struggle erupted, a battle born from the depths of unrecognized kinship. Chaos ensued as alarms blared and other inmates got wind of the struggle. In that heartbreaking culmination of disappointment, anger, and desire for acknowledgement, Marcus felt the release he had sought his entire life as he confronted the very embodiment of his pain. The aftermath was swift and devastating. An innocent man lost his life due to a series of choices built upon unresolved emotions. As Marcus was ushered away from the scene in restraints, he knew the gravity of his actions, but also felt a troubling sense of vindication. Revenge would not fill the void, yet the truth illuminated his feelings. Carter Davis, a well-respected officer, had lost his life not only to violence, but to a heartbreaking reality where two lives had never intersected when they should have. For Marcus, new charges awaited him, further solidifying the generational cycle of violence. This tragic tale raises questions about the bonds of blood and the consequences of silence. Would their lives have been different if the truth had come to light earlier? What if Carter had taken responsibility and acknowledged Marcus's existence? As we contemplate these questions, this heart-wrenching story urges us to consider the weight of our choices and the unseen threads connecting us to others. Sometimes fate has a way of intertwining lives in the most unexpected and tragic of ways. Thank you for joining me in uncovering this heartbreaking tale from the heart of Baton Rouge. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? What could have been done differently? Let's continue this conversation as we explore more stories of crime and consequence in our next video.